Ladies and gentlemen, I always encourage people to be very careful about who you date. These choices of who you date can drastically cost you everything. So, I have a hashtag which is called hashtag Date Thugs Date Death, which is actually the t-shirt that I have on today. And I don't even think I actually intended to wear this shirt to represent this particular story, but it kind of worked out that way. But I am going to have some opinions about this story that's not going to sit well with your sensibilities. So let me give my disclaimer, and I think I'm going to start doing this from here on out. I'm going to just keep my disclaimer up here so everybody understands what you're walking into before you get here, okay? So pause the video right there. You'll have time to read that. Let's go ahead and get started. So North Carolina, Davie County takes the L in this particular story. The parents found dead with their children in an apparent murder-suicide on Monday made a series of cryptic communications with local deputies mere hours before this tragedy. So the actual time frame is 2 hours. There he is. Got you. 2 hours before this tragedy. Okay? And I'm getting this story from lawandcrime.com. So thank you, Law and Crime, for the article. I get a lot of articles from them because they're really full and accurate. You guys have people working here today. According to Ashad Ewing-Meeks, let me see if I can get his face up on the screen. This individual, that's Ashad Ewing-Meeks. His name is spelled A-S-C-H-O-D. I'm assuming that's Ashad. If it's not correct, then it is what it is. He's 26 years old. Matter of fact, I hope y'all don't mind me doing this. Y'all know I have a tendency to do this. I call people out on their tattoos. I'm going to blow this up. I didn't think I was going to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. So if the family don't like what I'm about to do, then it is what it is. I'm going to call it out. I just think that first and foremost, when you date people, when you're in a relationship with people, before you get married, before you have kids, it is so important for you to do a background check, number one, and just really take time to observe a person, be aware of the yellow flags and red flags, dangerous signs that this person might be unstable. If this person is suffering from mental issues, if they have a history of that, that's something you might want to find out about. Or if you're dating a person with a criminal background. That could go for men or women, but mainly I talk to the women because that's a large majority of my audience, right? Tattoos on the neck, I think, are indicative of a person that might not be such a law-abiding citizen, in my personal opinion. He could be a freaking saint for all I know. I don't know prior to this incident. I could be wrong. Maybe it's a birthmark. So I'll say that. In the middle of his head, it looks like it's a tattoo, but what do I know? I don't know. I didn't get any clear pictures of this guy. But it looks like that's actually a tattoo in the middle of his head. If that's a birthmark, then cool. If it's not, if that's a tattoo in the middle of the head, I always think the people that put tattoos on their face might be a couple of screws loose. Might be a couple of tacos short of a combination plate, right? Ashad Ewing-Meeks said, "Do y'all have people working here today?" They went to the police station, as you guys can see from those screenshots. He is 26 years old and he's the suspected killer, and said in surveillance footage from Davie County Sheriff's Office lobby in North Carolina, according to the authorities, WGHP, not my personal words. That's not my opinion. About 2 hours later, at about 2:17 p.m., the firefighter said that they found the family shot to death at their home after a passerby reported seeing smoke coming from the residence. Deputies said the first responders found Ashad Ewing-Meeks dead with a gun in hand. Authorities said that they believe he fatally shot Ashton, the young lady, Bricks, one of the little kids, and Bella. Ashton, Bricks, and Bella. No, beautiful kids, man. Beautiful family. And then he set the house on fire before killing himself. It's definitely been an impact on the community, on the neighborhood, according to Davie County Sheriff J.D. Hartman said in a press conference on Wednesday, according to WCBD. It's not an area where we have a lot of calls or issues. The neighbor said that they were good to the neighbor said that they were good neighbors. Hartman reportedly said that the family was vague about why they wanted to speak to the deputy during that Monday visit. Ewing-Meeks during the visit reportedly did ask about getting a concealed carry permit. Brown called authorities minutes later on Monday at 12:35 p.m. asking to speak to a deputy in what WFMY described as a non-emergency call. A deputy called her back at 12:46 p.m., 11 minutes later. According to officials, Brown said that she called for her boyfriend. She gave the phone to him, but the call only lasted 30 seconds. It was unclear if it was from a hang-up or a dropped phone call. The deputy called back, and this call lasted 55 seconds. The deputy made a third and a fourth call lasting 2 minutes and more than 6 minutes respectively. Meeks allegedly said that he thought someone was following him. He was the only person to speak to the deputy after the initial call, so I'm sure more of those details will come out here soon. The deputy called at 1:06 p.m. and 1:07 p.m., but both calls went to voicemail. Authorities could not contact the couple after that. At about 2 p.m., a witness claimed to see Ewing-Meeks and Brown argue in front of the couple's home, but they went inside, authorities said. Minutes later, another witness claimed to see smoke coming from the home. First responders say that they found the mother and her infant son in the kitchen with the daughter in the bedroom doorway. Ewing-Meeks, a gun in hand, was at the end of the hallway leading to the kitchen, authorities said. Locals teamed up to help the Browns family with fundraising efforts, including t-shirt sales and a barbecue. And I can totally respect their efforts in doing it that way. It's a hard way to do it, but I definitely respect them trying to step up and help financially in that way. Y'all know a lot of times I'm not really all for the GoFundMes when it comes to death, because I think that GoFundMes really should be for lively things, and I think that life insurance should be for death. But like I said, I'm definitely not going to fault people if they put up the GoFundMes, if that's what they got to do. So I'm going to probably start backing off of my stance on that, because over the years I just really don't think that people understand where I'm coming from when it comes to the importance of having life insurance. Okay? Now, sorry. Keep bringing up articles I didn't mean to bring up. As a community, we all put ourselves in that situation, said Nicole Lewis, who said that she did not know Brown but organized the fundraiser at the Coolamy Fire Department on Saturday, according to WGHP. What if that was us? What if that was our family or our loved ones? My opinion about this. I have to draw conclusions because we don't know, but I have opinions because I want to help prevent these things going forward. If you ask me, they looked like a happy family. They dressed it up real nice. He dressed really nice. He didn't dress like a thug. He didn't dress like a jerk. They looked like a beautiful, happy family. So what went wrong? Was this drugs? Was this about her trying to split from him? Was this about control? I don't know. I really don't know. It's really hard to say. I really don't want to sit here and call him a thug or anything like that just because of the tattoos. I don't know anything about him. And to be honest with you guys, it's really, really hard to make a judgment call based on what I think happened here. So I'm going to hold off on that. Let me give you guys the fair usage. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. So all I'm saying is we just have to be as careful as we can. And not every situation is perfect, but we just got to do better when it comes to vetting the people that we date and have children by, okay? That's all you can do, all right? Just very tragic. If y'all would, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up. Share this story because I want to hear more people's opinions and maybe some more facts will come out. Or if the family wants to reach out and let us know what really happened, or if you know what happened, you can always post that in the comment section, okay? Here we go. Let's get it.
From WXII 12 News, this is breaking news.
It is hard to imagine a story about a family of 4 being found dead inside a burning home, getting worse 2 days later, but that is what is happening tonight in Davie County.
This is very sad. Sheriff J.D. Hartman says preliminary autopsy results show that a Coolumee man shot his young children and their mother before setting their home on fire and taking his own life. The sheriff also identified the 4 people killed in what he called a murder-suicide. The adults are Ashton Brown and Ewing-Meeks. They were boyfriend and girlfriend, both 26 years old. Their 2 children are also dead, 4-year-old Bella Meeks Ewing and 8-month-old Brix Meeks Ewing.
I've seen a lot in 30 years, but children, and especially children that are killed by gunshots and burned, is pretty heinous.
Now, the entire family visited the sheriff's office just hours before the incident. Hartman showed video of them in his lobby early Monday afternoon. We have opted not to show that footage. The sheriff says the family was vague about what they wanted and left after just 4 minutes. 20 minutes later, they called 911 asking to speak with an officer for safety reasons. An officer called Ms. Brown, who let the officer speak with her boyfriend. Each time, though, the calls ended or the signal dropped and the officer called back. Eventually, though, the calls started going to voicemail.
He wouldn't really advise what he wanted. He advised the officer that he thought somebody was following him, but he wasn't in danger. They weren't threatening him. The officer attempted to get him to come back to the sheriff's office. They were driving around. They wouldn't tell the officer where they were. He attempted to get them to give a location to meet. They would not. Tried to get them to come back to the sheriff's office. They would not return to the sheriff's office. Could no longer make contact with them after that.
Less than an hour later, a witness saw the family arguing outside the home. A few minutes later, someone driving by saw the house on fire. The fire department responded and found 4 bodies inside. The sheriff says the family had lived in that home for about the last 2 years and they had never responded to or received a 911 call from there.
And I know you'll have some people that'll say, like, this is why we need to be stronger about gun laws and this and that. This has absolutely nothing to do with this man shouldn't have had a gun or anything like that. Because last time I checked, people out here starving and killing babies. People out here stabbing babies. People out here running people over with cars. Strangling people. Drowning people in bathtubs. Last time I checked, there's a multitude of ways. So if evil is going to happen, then evil people are just going to do evil things no matter what weapons they have at their disposal, even if it's their own 2 hands. So let's not blame this on inanimate weapons or inanimate tools like guns. Guns aren't the problem at all. And I hope that nobody uses this story to sit there and say that. Guns have never been the problem. People are the problem. Let's keep going.
All 4 victims are deceased from gunshot wounds. The fire was intentionally set. Mr. Meeks was deceased from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. And we found the gun that matches all of this actually still in Mr. Meeks' hand.
And I just thought about something, and thank you for bringing that up in the chat. These are young folks with a lot of kids. Maybe she was even pregnant. They could have been on baby number 3. We don't really know what their problem was. 1 kid is a handful. 2 kids are definitely a handful. Bills can be stressful. Keeping a job can be stressful. Keeping a relationship or keeping a marriage can be very stressful. This could have just simply stress and pressure bursting a pipe. We just don't know.
The sheriff of Davie County delivering more troubling and heartbreaking information that's breaking right off the top of the Fox 8 10 o'clock news. The announcement this evening came just a little more than 48 hours after firefighters found a family of 4 dead in a burning house in Coolamy. Just saw video of what is certainly among the last times this family was seen alive. Good evening and welcome. I'm Neil McNeil. Fox 8's Jordan Brown has been following this story since it broke Monday afternoon. She was at that news conference in Mocksville earlier this evening. Jordan, this is a really complicated case.
Yeah, Neil, there is a lot to unpack here, and it's eerie knowing the family walked right into this building less than 3 hours before they were all found dead in that home. Now, one thing we know for sure is that this was a murder-suicide. Police say all of the victims inside the home died of gunshot wounds, and that Ashad Ewing-Meeks was the one died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, and he still had the gun in his hand when his body was found. The one thing we may never know is why. This surveillance video shows the moment 26-year-old Ashad Ewing-Meeks, 26-year-old Ashton Brown, and their 2 children, 4-year-old Bella and 8-month-old Bricks, walked into the Davie County Sheriff's Office on the afternoon of April 18th.
You guys have people working here today?
They all entered the sheriff's office lobby at 12:11 p.m. They walked in, no calls were made. They spoke with our receptionist. They were very vague about what they wanted. They just wanted to talk to an officer.
They left after a few minutes. 20 minutes after that, Ashton calls the sheriff's office. Still vague about what she needed, but said she had safety concerns.
Hi, have you called to speak with a deputy or anything? You need to speak with a deputy? Yes, please. About a safety reason?
That call was disconnected. The officer called back. They talked for a few minutes, then the call dropped again. That cycle repeated for 30 minutes.
The rest of the calls were with Mr. Meeks talking. He wouldn't really advise what he wanted. He advised the officer that he thought somebody was following him, but he wasn't in danger. They weren't threatening him. The officer attempted to get him to come back to the sheriff's office. They were driving around. They wouldn't tell the officer where they were. He attempted to get them to give a location to meet. They would not.
The officer...
Y'all remember the dude that went out and murdered those 3 people? The guy, Cola Beale, Kola, Cola Beale, Beale. Remember him? Who everybody said he was crazy and all of that stuff. One of the things that really stuck out of my mind and my memory, especially in this story, is when he said, you need to call and check on your people. Y'all remember that? If you didn't, go back and watch that video. It's very telling. That one thing I hung on to, and he said you need to call and check on your people. A lot of us can relate to our family and friends, even our cousins, uncles, aunties. We don't call and check on them. We haven't texted them. Don't wish them happy birthday or anything like that. Just call. Hey, I'm just calling to check and see how you're doing today. How many of us forget to do that? You might think about it and you just don't do it. What if these group of people right here had family and friends that just didn't call them, didn't text on them, didn't check on them, didn't go see them, didn't have a grandmother or grandfather to just go pick up the kids for a little while, y'all just get away from each other for a little bit? Did the family know that they were having issues on either side? And this is part of where I think, family could come into play as far as helping. I'm just going to assume that this was just a stressful situation and maybe he just felt hopeless, like, don't nobody care. Don't nobody love me. This is hopeless. Something as simple as a phone call to family and friends, and I'm going to tell you guys this. I think that was a calculated effort for them to walk into that police department to at least do that. I don't know many people that even get to that point. To walk in there and say, I need to speak to somebody. We're in a crisis. I need to speak to somebody. If that were me working there, I would have immediately tried to keep them there and get somebody out there. I would have talked to them myself to just try to help as much as you can. I mean, you can only do what you can do. If this was going to happen, it was going to happen. But it's just sad because I don't think none of us wanted this to happen like this. Just really sad.
Calls to Meeks stopped going through around 1 p.m. At 2 p.m., a neighbor saw Brown and Meeks arguing in the yard at their home on Junction Road. By 2:14, the house was on fire. A passerby notices smoke coming from the house.
They drive to the Coolmey Fire Department and report that the house is on fire.
Firefighters arrived in less than 5 minutes, not knowing there was a gruesome scene waiting inside the home.
Definitely a sad situation here. Now, the fire and the murders are still under investigation. The sheriff told us that prior to Monday, there had never been a call to this home. A deputy had never responded to this home, and that no one in the home had ever dialed 911, which makes this tragedy all the more shocking.
Hours after walking into a local sheriff.
Let me turn this down just a little bit. I noticed this a little loud. My bad.
Hours after walking into a local sheriff's office with his partner and 2 children, authorities say a man in North Carolina killed them and set their home on fire before killing himself.
Since they moved in, which was approximately 2 years ago, we've never had a call at their house. We've never had a 911 call from their house. We've never had a deputy respond to their house.
The sheriff of Davie County says 26-year-old Ishad Ewing-Meeks shot and killed his partner, 26-year-old Ashton Brown, and their 2 children, 4-year-old Bella and 8-month-old Bricks. He says Ewing-Meeks was also found dead of a gunshot wound with the gun still in his hand. Authorities said Ewing-Meeks and his family turned up at the sheriff's office asking to speak with a deputy, but he was vague about what he wanted to discuss. Surveillance video shows them leaving 4 minutes later. About 20 minutes later, investigators say Brown called 911 saying she wanted to speak with a deputy. A deputy called her back 10 minutes later, and Brown said she had a safety concern.
What do you need to speak with an officer about? I'm just needing to speak with them, about a safety reason.
Authorities say the call was disconnected. Just over an hour later, a passerby reported that the house where the family lived was on fire. And when firefighters put out the flames, they discovered the bodies. The sheriff says the investigation continues. A GoFundMe account has been set up seeking help paying for funeral expenses and has already exceeded its goal. For Inside Edition Digital, I'm Mara Montalbano.
Look, guys, we can't blame this on police. We can't blame this on dropped phone calls. We cannot blame this on guns. You can maybe blame it on stress. You can blame it on their age. But you definitely have to keep the blame within the family and just say whatever the mother and father were going through, that's where it starts and that's where it ends. And whatever they were going through, maybe only family and friends know. But it doesn't seem like they were very good about vocalizing that. Because clearly, even when they went up there, I mean, they were just like, I need to speak with them about something and didn't really say. But it's just a really sad story. I am glad that their GoFundMe was able to reach its goal. So they were able to not only reach their goal, but exceed it. I actually do know, I think I have a screenshot of it. Let me see if I can show you. Even on the man's side of the family, they even had a memorial service for him as well. But, you know, like I said, I mean, I guess you know, I guess he had family and loved ones, you know, you do what you do. But nonetheless, just really sad on paper. When you look at their pictures together, they just look like they could have been a beautiful family. You just don't know the demons lurking within somebody. That's why I say I think it's just really important to make sure before you have children, do as best as you can to vet people that you are dating and having children by and living with. It's really all you can do. Really sad situation to this entire family, a family of 4, gone. We are our own worst enemy. Young souls, rest in peace. Thank y'all so much for listening to the story. Leave your comments in the comment section and let me know what you think, okay? Thank you.